Hi guys. Okay, so today's video will be a vlog. Yay! Okay, so I'm not too big on doing vlogs, but I'm gonna try to make them as often as I can. Guys, come with me at Indigo. I'm gonna go get Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. I'm excited to read Blockshot because Longshot was fantastic. So come with, let's go. Hi guys, today's vlog I will be reading two books. Before I introduce the two books that I will be reading for this Vlogmas, I want to show you guys the books I bought. So there's a little mini book haul, and of course it's never planned, but in this world of booktube you can't help but buy books and more books. So without further ado, let me show you the books. These are the books that I bought. First, we have, let me see how much this cost. Yeah, can't tell you, or Bay will kill me. So we have this one. It's by Nancy Thayer, Let It Snow. The only reason why I got this book, it does say that it's a New York Times best-selling, and I believe it's a small town romance, and it's also appropriate for the month of December. Obviously it's Christmas, it's the holidays, so I thought I'd pick this book for my December TBR. And let's see, Christina Antonioni is preparing for the holidays at her Nantucket toy shop, unpacking last minute shipments and decorating for her loyal Christmas customers. When her Scrooge of a landlord, Oscar Biddlesman, suddenly raises her rent, it seems nearly impossible for Christina to continue her business. Even so, Christina hopes there is a warm heart underneath Oscar's steely exterior. When she bonds with Wink, his sweet young granddaughter, who frequents the shop, it becomes clear that perhaps he isn't so cold after all. And with the help of Wink's uncle, who happens to be a charming and very handsome bachelor, this may be the best Christmas any of them could have ever imagined. Well, obviously it's not that spectacular, but it's a cute romance story, so we'll see. And the next book that I want to read for the month of December that will also appear in this vlog is, ta-da, Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. I just finished Longshot and I was like, I'm hooked. Literally, I am hooked, and I need to read the whole series in the Hoop series. So Blockshot is next, and I can't wait to dive in. The next, I got On Girlhood, 15 stories from the well-read Black Girl Library. So it was $8, and I thought, why not? If it's about Black girl, Black culture, Black people, Africans, anything Black, you know it's gonna be part of my library. So next, I watched The Notebook by this author, and I also read, what was it again? The book that I read? It was Every Breath, and I really enjoyed his writing, so I thought I would pick up The Wish. And I'm not sure, but it also looks Christmassy. I swear, it had a Christmas sentence in it, and I was like, maybe I should also read this for the month of December. So it's Nicholas Sparks, The Wish. Yes. Handsome man, not terrible. Next we have, this was $8 too, before you think I spent an arm and a leg, it was $8. Willie O'Ree, Willie, the game-changing story of the NHL's first Black player. This man looks Black too. He does. No, it's a good story because, again, one, I'm not too much into sports, let alone hockey, but I'm definitely intrigued about the people who had those breakthrough in those sports where you don't really see Black people thrive, you know. So I thought it'd be an interesting story to discover. So I can't wait to tell you more about it. And this obviously is a nonfiction, it's more of a biography. So we shall see. Next, I bought, this was also $8, and it's titled Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. She's the author of We Love You, Charlie Freeman. Now, I haven't read a book by her, but I saw this in the sale section and I was taken by the beautiful cover. But also, she's a Black author. Look at her. And also, it does have a slave narrative. The first sentence says, coming of age as a freeborn Black girl in Reconstruction era Brooklyn, Liberty Sampson is all too aware that her purposeful mother, a practicing physician, has a vision for their future together. You know, I don't need to say more or read more. That's my kind of books. I gravitate towards those stories. So I knew I had to get it in my library. We have two more. Next, we have So You Want to Talk About Race by Ijeoma Oluo. You know, I saw the name and I was like, that sounds Nigerian. Let's see. First of all, this is the lady. Cute. And of course, it talks about the first few sentences are police brutality, trials, white supremacists, rallies, Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what she has to say about all these heavy subjects. They're obviously heavy topics, but hey, there's no point ignoring these things, you know. It's part of our lives and we have to face them. And some of us who are not faced with that kind of trauma or that kind of stuff, what we have to do is read about it so we can, you know, educate ourselves. So that's why I picked it up. And lastly, the other book that I got that was also $8. It is Chigozie Obioma, author of The Fisherman, an orchestra of minorities. Yeah, so on the outskirts of Umuahia, Nigeria, a young poultry farmer named Chinonso sees a woman about to jump from a highway bridge. Horrified by her recklessness, Chinonso joins her on the roadside and hurls two of his prized chickens into the water below to demonstrate the severity of such a fall. The woman, Dali, is stopped in her tracks. Okay, I know I'm already gonna enjoy this. Oh. Anyways, I already have the books that I want to read for the month of December, so this will probably wait January. That is my mini book haul. Now, the books that I will be reading for this vlog, as I mentioned, will be Blockshot, but I decided to also read. I'm finally gonna get onto that wagon, you know. I want to see what the hype is about. I want to be part of the trend, you know. So it is Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros. So I'm not too big on fantasy. I think one of my first fantasy book that I read was Linden Falls, and it had a too much religious aspect to it. I didn't really understand the world building and all of that, but since then I have done a bit of research and I know the elements that are required, for a fantasy book to be considered a fantasy book. So you have the world building, you have the political theme, you have all the supernatural or fantastical aspects of in the book. So I will be looking out for that while reading this book. And although, as I said, I have done my research, whatever I say, please take it with a grain of salt, because I'm no expert when it comes to fantasy, but I'm hoping that this will make me want to read more, right? So we shall see. But let's see. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living in a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as talent mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body's brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most will kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest will kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet, with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are falling, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basquiat or college has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. Alright. Because of the thickness of these two books, I'm not even sure that I'll be able to read 9 books for the month of December. I'm hoping, but we'll see. Which one should I take? This one? Or this one? To my friend, or feel love, enjoy life. I like this one. Okay, you guys, so far we meet Violet and Myra, who are both daughters of the general at this college. So that's where I am, and there seems to be some kind of tension happening at the beginning. Violet is supposed to be a scribe, but then her mother wants her to be in the writer's quadrant. That's where I am. So guys, I'm gonna do more reading tonight while I'm working, when it's not that busy, and I will update you once I've read more substantial material from the book. So in the meantime, I wish you a good night, and I'll see you later.
24 hours later.
Hi guys. Okay, so it is that time to give you an update on Fourth Wing. Last time I checked with you guys, I was still at the beginning, learning or discovering who Violet was and her family. Now, I am this much into the book, and oh my gosh, you guys, am I a fantasy girly now? I don't know, but I have to say, I'm enjoying this book quite a lot. When people talked about the dragons and all that stuff, I was like, oh my god. But honestly, I'm actually enjoying the book. So let me tell you where I'm at right now. So Violet is, as we know, she is the main character. She is supposed to be part of the scribe quadrant. Okay, there are 4 quadrants: the scribe quadrant, the healer quadrant, the writer's quadrant, and another quadrant. So she was supposed to be the scribe in the scribe quadrant, where you obviously study books, history, and everything about dragon and their city or their villages. Okay, but her mother wanted her to be a writer. So the way she is described, Violet, she's very frail, very petite, and obviously she's met with a lot of challenges, obstacles, and a lot of animosity from her peers, but she does make friends along the way. So obviously there are these obstacle challenges that they need to go through, these obstacle courses that they need to go through in order to prove herself and themselves. So the whole idea so far that I'm understanding is that for them to graduate and become writers and actually bond with dragons, they have to go through these different obstacles, you know, and each one of them is as dangerous as it can get. Like the way people die here reminds me a lot of like Game of Thrones. It's just they die like flies, you know, and no one is mourning, you know. It's like human life just doesn't matter. It's like you dead. But what I enjoyed about the story, it looks like there's this other person called Dane. He's like a wing leader in the writer squadron. There's a couple of wing leaders. There's Dane, who is very close to her, very protective of Violet, and there's this Xaden. Xaden is this cruel looking guy, but very handsome. It looks like there is tension, there is sexual tension between Violet and Xaden. At least on Violet's part, she doesn't want to have those feelings, but it's there, and she's fighting them throughout, you know, so far. She doesn't want to give in to those feelings. But what I realized is that every time she makes through a specific challenge, like the first one was the parapet challenge, and she made it through, surprisingly. And then the second one was, I think it was another challenge, you know, she was fighting all these other opponents, and it's like guy and a girl can fight, you know, there's no like sexism. It's you fight a guy, you get beaten, you know, she gets beaten, but like she get thrashed, is that the word? But she makes it, and she's able to recover, able to get healed. At some point her arm gets broken in one of those fights, but she's able to heal. And Dane is adamant about her going back to the scribe quadrant. He's like begging her, he's like, you're gonna die, this is not a game, like your life is in danger, like, but she knows that her mom will not allow it. And at the point where I'm arrived, it's as if she has accepted her destiny, like she will be a writer. And guys, getting to the fun part, oh my gosh, so she's been going through the challenges, right? And then the last challenge, I think before graduation, before they graduate, first year, they call it first year, her group is called first year. Before they graduate, they have to walk, almost parade, in front of these dragons. There are blue dragons, dagger tail dragons, black dragons, gold dragons, you know, and they have specific names, okay? So anyways, so they have to parade in front of these dragons. And if a dragon sort of, you will have this feeling between you and the dragon, and you know you will bond and therefore become a writer. They're parading, and at some point there are these other squad mates, and one of them obviously is very mean to Violet and so on, and he gets scorched by one of the dragons. And I forgot to mention, there's another squad mate, his name is Jack. He's super mean, like he's very mean, like I just want to finish him myself. Like he's out to terminate Violet, but she's not falling for him, you know, so that's very good. So at some point while they're parading, one of them gets scorched, and you know, it puts the fear of the gods in them, but they still continue. And let me get to the best part. Finally, she gets to a point where she overhears some of her squad mates talk about how they want to hunt a certain dragon, which is the golden dragon. And that gold dragon, the reason why they want to hunt it is because it doesn't fight. It looks very small, it's gold, it looks like a puppy, you know. So these 2 or 4 squad mates decide that they're gonna go hunt and basically kill it. And Violet happens to hear them, so she decides that she's gonna defend the gold dragon, because why would you want to kill him because he can't fight? Like, what kind of bullcrap is that, right? So anyways, she goes and she's won against all of them. And then at some point you hear her, she goes in front of the golden dragon and tries to talk to it, and she's like, can you do something? Pause, little fire, at least fly if you're not gonna defend yourself. He's like not responding, and then she fights them, and all of that. And at some point, you guys, okay, while the fighting happened, you see this huge dragon. Like, and I'm imagining it. Like, that's the beauty of like this fantasy book. It's like you just imagine the bigness, the tallness, the hugeness of this black dragon appearing like behind the golden dragon. And you guys, Violet has a bond with that black dragon. I'm fast forwarding it a bit, but his name is Turn. I'm gonna say Tairn. The dragon's name is Turn, but it's a long, huge name, okay? But anyways, so finally she bonds with them, and they speak, and so they telepathically speak to each other. And he's obviously has a sense of humor, the dragon, and she also has a sense of humor, but they're bonding. It's amazing. It's cool. I was like smiling big because everyone in her quadrant felt like she wouldn't make it, like she was the weakest link, and they wanted to exterminate her. But here she is, proving to everyone that not only can she go through all those challenges and make it, but also bond with the rarest dragon, because the black dragon apparently only mates like either once a year or hasn't mated that whole year. So for her to mate not only with the black dragon but also the golden dragon, both those dragons are hers. Like, I was like, if she's not badass, well then, you know. But yeah, you guys, I'm enjoying this, so I get the hype. I really get the hype, and I'm ready to devour more. So that's it for now. Yep. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna do more reading, but first I need my green tea. It's very appropriate, puts me in the mood. Got my cup here. They actually got me this for Valentine's Day a couple years ago. Got some lemon tea here. It's a magical mug. Right here. Oh, there you have it. Can you see that? It transforms. When it's like cold water, it's black. But when it's like with hot water, when there's hot water in the mug, there's my picture. Can you see that? I love this mug. So yeah. Jack is like, how is it possible that Violet bonded with the black dragon? You wish you were the one, but you ain't. He didn't choose you because your heart is black. That's why.
Three days later.
Okay guys, it's a couple of days after I last updated you. I finished Fourth Wing, and let me tell you, what a flight it was. Since we're talking about dragons, get it? What a flight. Okay, I finished the book. It was fantastic. Literally, it was a fantastic book. The world of dragons with Violet, Xaden, and their whole crew. What a journey I had discovering each person, but also to see the growth of Violet. Because last time, if you recall, everybody was caught up on the fact that, you know, it's Violet, she's this small person. How can she have not only the most powerful dragon of all dragons, but two of them? Okay, we're past that. Now we have seen the evolution of Violet, but also her relationship with Xaden. Remember at the beginning how Xaden had there was this animosity between them two. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I think I have. Animosity derives from the fact that Xaden's father was killed by Violet's mother. And come to discover that the story is just not that simple. You will discover a couple of secrets throughout the book, revealing what Navarre, which is the city where they all lived, the people, Violet and the people, are hiding something quite dangerous. And it sounds like Xaden's father was actually trying to reveal what that secret was, and that got him killed. You discover that later. Also guys, the relationship with Violet and Xaden. I was like, okay, I see too. Like at some point, it has the trope of enemies to lovers, and that's obviously the development you see between Xaden and Violet. They start to fall for each other, although Violet was the one that was coming out, and she was very honest right at the not right at the beginning, but as soon as she saw that it was safe for her to kind of be open to Xaden, she's the one who came out with her feeling. And Xaden was still very reluctant and resistant simply because he's Xaden, he's very grumpy, he's very handsome and very reserved and all that stuff. But you discover that they fall for each other. And one scene, you guys, when they start, I guess they make love. Oh, guys, I forgot. So there's this aspect that all the cadets have with their dragons. It's basically a signet. I don't know if people say, because it has its sign with ET. So either you can pronounce it signet or signet. I'll say signet. So everybody has to have that signet. It's basically your own power that you channel with your dragon, and that's like your signet basically. So Violet hadn't discovered her signet until like almost 3/4 of the book, So going back to the part where I was talking about them making love, her signet is wielding lightning. That's her signet. Like she's that powerful. Not only does she have the most powerful dragon, she also has the strongest or the most coveted signet of all the other cadets there, and that's wielding lightning. So when they're going at it, she climaxes so much that her lightning breaks windows. Like, oh, isn't that crazy? That's fantastically crazy. But other than that, I don't want to tell you the end, but towards, like I said, 3/4 of the book, we discover that all those challenges and all those competitions that were going through, all that training that the cadets were fighting, the first year and second year and third year were fighting for, was ultimately to defend Navarre against enemies. And we also discover that there is this book that it's a fable, and it talks about all these creatures that are not supposedly real, but come to discover at the book that they're called Venom, and another name. They are real, and that's a real threat. And Xaden was hiding something for Violet. And this is after they bonded, their dragons bonded together, because Xaden's dragon and Violet's dragon are like bonded because they're female and male, they're with each other. So you obviously see that it's natural that Xaden and Violet kind of get together as well. So after they bonded and she's feeling all this love for Xaden, and actually, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, tell them that she loves him. She discovers something that he was hiding, and she had given him a lot of chances to come out and tell the truth. So at some point, they have all these what you might call it, these games that they have to train for. Like real, like, what do you call it? So the word I was looking for, guys, is these simulation type war games. So one night, the elites of that city decide to send Violet and Xaden and other cadets in different parts of the city, station them there to have a mock type of defense, war, that kind of stuff. Okay, no problem. And I don't know if you guys recall if I mentioned Dane was Violet's best friend. They've been having a sort of up and down relationship because Dane was always so protective, not let Violet be or flourish or blossom, always trying to protect her, So Violet wasn't happy with that, and they had some tension, but they seem to have worked it out at some point. Come to discover that Dane is hiding something, and he might have played a very big role in the big scheme of what happened afterwards. So let me just go back to Xaden and Violet going to be stationed in a different part of the city. No problem. And that's where Violet discovers what Xaden was keeping from her all this time. And there's this huge fight that ensues, and she discovers that this is not actually a mock war, a mock game. This is real. Her life is in danger. Xaden's life is in danger, and the city where they're stationed, those people are in danger. And there ensues the biggest fights with dragons, venom, and griffins. I guess they're like these big birds. So all these species are fighting not only in the air, also on the ground, trying to protect the people of the city while trying to also fight these dangerous species. And it was an epic battle, let's just say that. But you guys, that's fourth wing, and the end, obviously the end of the book is not really the end because someone comes back from the dead. I'm just gonna leave it out there. Now, the way the book ended, I am curious enough, but not that curious for me to go and pick it up for the month of January. I might wait to read Iron Flame, and I have it in the month of February. We'll see. And the reason why I am waiting is because I've heard a lot of people, and I shouldn't have done that, but I've heard a lot of people talk about Iron Flame and saying that it was not that grandiose. And that kind of puts me a little bit on the defensive, where I'm like, yes, I'm not missing anything. Although I want to know what happens, I'm just like, I can wait. So, but that's fourth wing. That's fourth wing. Next, I am currently reading Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. Whew, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Well, okay, so Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. I already read the blurb in my TBR, so let me just give you, because I'm this much into the book, let me give you a little synopsis, but a little resume, summary of where I am in the story. So in this book, we follow Jared and Banner. Jared is this handsome white dude, and Banner is this beautiful Spanish girl. And the way the story starts is they met when they were still in college, you know. They're best friends, they're good friends, they're studying together, they are very, very smart. You know, Banner is that she's very good in presenting in her arguments when she's in a debate. So is Jared. She's very intelligent, she's classy, and one aspect that I realized Kennedy Ryan, I guess, mentions or writes in the book is the fact that Banner is a thick lady. You know, she's thick, she's Spanish, and there's some sort of confidence issues with her. Whereas Jared is this golden boy, and at the beginning he's trying to be part of this fraternity group called the Pride, okay? And he's supposed to do all these challenges, all these things in order to be part of that group. And at some point, one of the challenges that he's asked to do is to sleep with the fat lady. Yes, you heard me correctly. So obviously Jared has something for Banner. He does like the girl, he respects her, and he actually doesn't think she's fat. You know, she's curvy, but he doesn't think that she's fat. So when he's asked to do that, he's like, no, hell no. And he's like, he tells the guy, I guess his name is Prescott. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be part of this stupid Pride. So you can go F yourself. Okay? No problem. So all you see is that he wants to be with Banner. That way though, he wants to fuck her. But he doesn't want to do it under duress or under that pressure, as a challenge. Long story short, he goes to see Banner. They're at a laundromat. They're studying together for an exam because it's end of the year. And he tells himself that he's gonna get his girl. He's gonna make a move and all that stuff. And at the same time, Banner has always liked Jared, but she knows that he's out of her league. Like, she's curvy, and she talks about her lack of confidence due to the men that she went out with, and one specifically who went to tell his friends about like her jiggling parts and stuff like that, which was, oh my god. So they're studying, and he comes up with a plan that he's gonna seduce Banner, you know, because he wants her. That's cool. And Banner, as I mentioned, she thinks that Jared is out of her league, even though she's been crushing on this guy for so long. But due to the fact that this other boyfriend of hers broke her heart, by saying all those mean things and spreading rumors. She's like, but they start studying and he makes a move, it's very cute. He makes a move, they kiss, and things move on. And when it comes to getting down to business, she's like, keep the lights on. I don't want you to turn off the light. He's like, no, I want to see you. And she's like, no, if that's the case, then we're not doing this. And he's like, okay, no problem. So they get down to business. And when Kennedy Ryan writes those sex scenes, you guys, ooh, it's hot, even for young kids, because they're very young. They're not that experimented, but they be knowing what they're doing. So I was like, okay, Miss Banner, and okay, Jared. So anyways, long story, it's a beautiful scene, blah blah blah, and they're like cuddling when they're done, and she's like feeling all these cute emotions, and boom, the door opens, you guys, and guess who comes there? Prescott and his gang of stupid, and they're just barging on them naked, and Banner's like, what the hell, what's going on, and she's trying to like find her clothes and cover herself. And then that whole challenge, even though Jared said he never wanted to be part of it, comes to bite him in the ass, literally. Anyways, from that point on, Banner does not even want to listen to him. She's like, you know what, we're done, that's it. And he tries to beg her, like he follows her, like she runs home, he follows her, he wants her to hear what he has to say, but nothing. So that's basically the beginning. And fast forward where I'm at, it's been 10 years, they're in their 30s. And that's one thing I want to tell you guys. That's why I love Kennedy Ryan's books. It's because she talks about those visceral feelings, those emotions, those deep obsessive obsessions between couples that are in their 30s, because most of those romance books, at least the ones I used to read, are always so focused on when you're young, you're innocent, so you're gullible, so you easily impressioned, you easily fall in love and all of that stuff. And it's as if when you're in your 30s or 40s, you cannot have those strong emotions. And I love the fact that Kennedy Ryan still makes it possible to have these couple in their 30s with all of that experience, and knowing that love can come and go, but yet still able to fight for that kind of love, right? So Banner and Jared have made it into the basketball. Sorry, did I mention that it's a basketball series, obviously, and Jared is brother to August, so he is in the world of basketball. He's into marketing, I believe he's into marketing, and he works for Elevation, whereas Banner is an agent. She is an agent, and she's the one who brings the big client working for this other company, and they're in the Pride too. So both Jared and Banner found themselves on opposite sides of basketball. So they're basically in competition, you know what I mean? Hence the block shot. It's when Jared tries to get a client and then Banner kind of blocks that shot by getting that client first. Anyways, hence the title. 10 years goes by and they see each other in those different meetings, offices when it comes to basketball, and they're both trying to, merge or emerge in this world and find themselves or find their footing. And Banner has become this huge known agent, and she lost weight, she looks amazing. When Jared sees her, he's like, first, he never had issues with her weight, but now he's like, I just want to say something about Jared's personality. Jared's personality is very, I don't know what to say, it's very mean. He's very I have a black heart, and he's proud to admit that. I don't think I like that. And to me, even if we talk about character development, once that's in your genetics, it's natural to you and your personality and your characteristics. I am saying that even if you fall in love with the person, that's gonna come back. That personality, that's the core of you. At some point in the relationship, it's gonna come back. But I know for the purpose of a romance book, it's a trope that kind of works. It needs to work. So as I said, he's very handsome, but he's black and he doesn't have emotions, and he gets into relationships without getting his heart involved because, he just has sex to have sex. No problem. Banner knows that and he doesn't hide it, So they're at the point where Banner is in a relationship with this basketball that they have endorsed. She's an agent too. and his name is, he's Spanish. She's in a relationship with him, and they've been knowing each other for so long. But what happens is that when Jared re-enters her life, she starts to redevelop all these feelings that she had fought so long to hide them or suffocate them. And whenever he's in the room, her body, her mental, everything reacts. They're like pulled together, even when she doesn't want to, and she knows she's in a relationship. And I'm gonna say this, you guys. I'm gonna say this. I don't agree with cheating trope. That's not something I gravitate towards. And she's in a relationship, like I said, with the guy, but at some point she does give in to temptation and actually sleeps again with Jared. And I'm not into that. Like, no matter, break it off where you are. Have that integrity. Even if you see her struggle, she is feeling guilty. She knows, and I understand her mental speech of where she's at, but I still didn't agree with her sleeping with Jared while she was still in that relationship. That bitch is a no for me. Okay? Hey, don't judge me. That's all I'm saying. But that's where I am, you guys. That's where I am. And now she has to have that conversation with her boyfriend. Basically, tell him that, you know what, boo? You're so good. Man, you're rich, you're good, you're a basketball player. Everybody wants you. But you know what? I'm fucked up. I want this dude that has a mean heart, and I'm just physically attracted to him. And I'm not sure what to do. So, anyways, the speech hasn't come up yet, but I'm thinking that's probably what it's gonna be like. Alright, you guys, so I'm gonna do more reading and I will update you later on. We didn't use a condom. How stupid can you get? Okay, Banner, I've had a lot of respect for you, but what you mean? And I knew as it was happening that that was gonna come up. I knew it. So, Banner's boyfriend is Zoe. And look at what Jared says. To them, what we did here was wrong. To me, it was the most natural expression of the truth, even if it's truth at its most vascular. In my blood, in my veins. No matter how beautifully you try to put this, but you're wrong. You're wrong. There's no gray areas when it comes to cheating. Cheating is cheating. He's so determined, Jared. Like, I mean, I love a man that's a chaser. Like, I get the personality that Kennedy Ryan is giving to Jared, but at some point I know I want a man that does not fear a challenge. I get that, and Banner should not be a challenge, but she is. Okay, but it's the way that he goes about it. There's no remorse. I find that even if you want, I can admire that audacity, that tenacity, that persistence, that obsession, that go-getterism, mannerism, okay? But to a certain degree, like I need to see that you're still human enough, you still have some remorse of the fact that we did what we did and someone will be hurt. Many people will be hurt. Anyways, you guys, so I'm gonna do a little bit more of reading, and as I said, I will update you maybe tomorrow, on the morrow, we shall see.
Extremely annoying shift later.
You guys, I just had to come back again and talk to you about Zoe and Banner. She actually told them, and you guys, I actually had tears. Oh my god. The way Zoe was heartbroken. Oh god. Like, I'm so torn because I understand the raw feelings that she has for Jared, but she also had a good thing with Zoe. I feel like it could have been something that she could have worked it out with him. She could have talked to him, like those feelings can be trusted. But oh my gosh, it was so painful. Like, he threw something and I could just feel like I was in that room, feel the shame that Banner felt and her tears and her writing emotions, but also Zoe. Oh my gosh, my heart goes to Zoe, guys. Okay, sorry guys, I just had to let you know. Hurts. It hurts. Damn.
A few inches later.
Hello guys. Okay, so I finished reading Bloodshot by Kennedy Ryan. And oh my God, do I have a lot of things to say about this book. But incredibly, it was quite a journey. So if you recall, last time that I updated you, it was when there was that big confrontation between Banner and Zoe, her Spanish boyfriend. And oh, I felt so terrible. Like I was actually tearing up because the breakup was so painful, because Zoe truly cared about Banner. But although Banner cared about Zoe, he was not Jared Foster. I want to say something about Jared Foster. Now, his character is very unpleasant. You know, the way Kennedy Ryan wrote his character is that he's like a very nonchalant person who doesn't really give a fuck about people. That's his motto, you know, like he has a cold heart. And I guess he had to be this way because when you look at Banner, she's this warm person with a big heart, always helpful, always wanting to help others, you know. And I guess opposite attract, so her warmth attracted the cold heart of Jared, and he knew that no one else could see or crack that thick skin of his but Banner. And he was so obsessed with her. I mean, I know realistically that kind of love is just not sustainable, you know what I mean? But in another world, I was like, that's some kind of love if a man is that obsessed with you, because he was obsessed, downright obsessed with Banner. And I was a little bit on the edge with their relationship, you know, just because I felt like at some point in the book, Zoe gets sick, you know, he's in the basketball, he's at his prime, but unfortunately, he has this incurable disease. And what happens is that he has to be going through almost chemo. It's like not a cancer, but it's a different disease that's almost intertwined with cancer, which means he had to go through chemo. And unfortunately, he doesn't have family members, because at the beginning of the story, he lost his family in an accident, a tragic accident, like his wife, his kids, everyone. So Banner is the only person that he depends on and that could help him. So what happens is that when they broke up together, he didn't want anything to do with Banner. But once he discovered that, you know what, I have this and I can't go through it alone, he gave Banner a condition. He's like, okay, if you want to be part of this journey, this whole thing with me, you can be seeing Jared. And his reasoning is that while I'm fighting for my life, okay, I need to only focus, you know, fighting for my life, so that once I'm out of the sickness zone, he can now fight with Jared for Banner. So I mean, it was a bit weird, just because as feminists, you know, we don't want to be like, okay, we're not prizes, so that doesn't work. But it had its romantic cuteness to it, you know, like two men fighting for me. I mean, that's adorable, you know. Banner is like, she's done, like she's upset, very upset, but she knows she also loves Zoe as a friend and she wants to help him. So she tells Jared the condition, and Jared is pissed. Like when Jared is pissed, you know, he's pissed. Like he's out of his element, and he's like, for someone who's sick, he's not playing fair. He's definitely not playing fair. But he didn't have a choice. He had to respect Banner's decision. I just wanted to read you guys a little something here. When Jared discovered the whole condition, he's like, I have to reassess my opponent. Zoe may be dying, and who knows, he may only have a year or two left to live, but he's not done yet. And he may be a good man, but he's not above leveraging even the worst circumstances in his life to get what he wants. That I can respect. He did something very few men have gotten away with. Son of a bitch blocked my shot. Oh, hence the title, Block Shot, like, right? Cool. Okay. Anyways, you guys, so I sincerely had a good time with this book. One thing I want to add without telling you guys the end is the relationship that flourished between Banner and Jared. Like their love was so electrifying. Like even I was feeling things that he was doing to Banner, it was very raw. Like, it was very graphic. Like, Kennedy just added everything. I mean, there was everything. There was nothing not added. Everything was done to Banner. And this is a lovely Spanish lady who's Catholic, may I say, very Catholic. And at some point, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell you the end, but for whoever read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Like the part where Jared does something so special for Banner, like when he talks Spanish to her and she had no idea that he could actually talk Spanish, because you have to know Jared's very white, as white can get, you know, blue eyes, blonde hair, all that good whiteness, you know. So it was just incredible. I had a good time with this book. Let's conclude, you guys. As I said, I read Fourth Wing and Blockshot. Now let's go to the rating. This is a contemporary romance and this is a romantasy. All right, so Fourth Wing with Violet Serengale and Zidane. I rate this book 4 out of 5. Mwah. For my second fantasy book, I have to admit the world building was not confusing. The characters' development was well executed. I enjoyed the love, the relationship, the dragons, like all of it. For a fantastical story, 4 out of 5. And for Kennedy Ryan, Miss Kennedy Ryan, Blockshot, this is a 4.75 out of 5. I had a little bit of my hesitation, but 4.75 out of 5. And I can't wait to read the final book in the series, which is called Hookshot. I can't wait. But there you have it, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me some comments if you read this book, what you thought of these books, what were your favorite parts. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao.